If everyone would please stand, and Mr. William, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please, sir?
Let's face the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is the Planning and Zoning Board. It's an advisory board which makes recommendations to the county commissioners who will make the final decision on all these items. The items on today's agenda will be heard by the county commission on May 6th. When a motion ends in any kind of split vote, a roll call vote may be taken to ensure accuracy. As a reminder, each member who makes a motion or a second needs to turn their microphone on so that your voice is on the record. At this time, if any board member has had any ex parte communication regarding any application, please disclose so now. Okay, could I get a motion for the approval of the minutes from March 8th?
I motion we accept.
Second.
A motion by Joe, a second by William. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passed unanimously. Okay, item 1.
Yes, item H1, John and Terry Cobroth and John Bradley Cobroth request a CUP for a private boat dock adjacent to a single-family residence in an RU-1-13 zoning classification located in District 3.
Okay, and sir, are you the applicant?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you could state your name and address for the record, please, as close to the mic as you could get there.
My name is John Kroboth, and I live at 225 Riggs Avenue, Melbourne Beach, Florida, 32951.
And a little bit about what you're looking to do, Mr. John.
Well, we bought this lot from the other person that had it for like, I don't know, 35 years or something, and it was across from his house. We live in the same neighborhood, but we don't live right across from it. And I found out later that I have to get this CUP permit to make it all legal and whatever. But it's got a little dock on it now. I'd like to eventually improve that dock, like all the other ones around there. Most of them have like a boat house type dock, and that's what we're looking to do.
Okay. Is anyone in the audience would like to speak for or against this item? Seeing that, I bring it back. That's good news. Seeing that, I bring it back to the board.
So moved.
So you realize that you can't have a boathouse, but you can have a roof on it.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Not a house, but
Okay.
yeah, covered boat dock. That's what I mean with a lift. You know, that's the way
Right.
they're all like that up and down that street. Same thing. Mm-hmm.
I made the motion.
To approve?
Yes.
I'll second that.
I'll second that motion.
We got a motion by William. We got a second by Bruce. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passed unanimously.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. John. Have a good day.
You too.
Okay, item 2.
Item H2, Michael J. and Annette Costello are requesting a change of zoning classification from RR-1 to AU, and that's in District 5.
Is the applicant here? And ma'am, if you could also state your name and address for the record.
Sure, Annette Costello, 2940 Appaloosa Boulevard, Melbourne, 32934. I have some things I'd like to hand out if this is the appropriate time.
Well, I think, have you got those checked in, Miss Jennifer? We're good? Yes, you can pass them out then, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman, as that gets passed out, there's also some information that was submitted to us late yesterday. There's some emails, and I believe that staff has got a video for you to watch when they're ready.
Okay.
Oh, mate, I need my letter. Okay, I have a bit of a statement. Would this be the right time for that?
That's fine, yes.
Okay, currently we're zoned RR1 and we're applying to be zoned, I guess it's AU. Okay. Thanks very much for the hearing. I appreciate your time. My name is Annette Costello. And first, if I may, I'd like to address, there is a code enforcement issue that is part of this whole thing. My neighbor, Karen Shepard, filed a complaint regarding our arena lighting. It's a covered arena. And after several visits and adjustments, Steve Novak with code enforcement and my husband and I have been working closely trying to get it to where it needs to be. It needs to be .02. I don't know what the unit of measure is, but let's
Lumens.
just,
Should be lumens.
Okay. Initially, it was at .04. We've moved things around, and now he came out the last time and said it was .02 at the property line with his measuring device. The code states that it has to be .02 at the property line, and so we are in compliance. Then, we thought this was all resolved, and so around December 20th, we received a letter from Steve in the mail that we had to fix the lighting and stop earning board. I sent a certified letter back to Steve addressing those issues on December 22nd. It was signed for by the county on December the 28th, addressing the issues that we were in compliance with the .02 rule. We never heard back anything until late March, so 3 months went by. I assumed we were good. I assumed there were no issues.
Well, not to interrupt you, but the code, this is different with a code violation. We're as far as zoning.
Okay, well,
You
it's
know.
kind of all interrelated, so if you'll, this part's almost done, then I'll launch into the rest, okay?
Okay, I was going to try
I
to
don't
save you
wanna-
some time.
Me too. But it was at that point when we decided, how does it get there? Oh, that's how it went. Okay, so Steve told us, Novak told us while he was out there that we were not in fact zoned AU. We'll get to that in the next part. That we were in fact RR1. What's so funny? It's a long process, but I hope we all end up at the same place at the end. If there's any questions, of course, then obviously you can ask them. Anyways, so we're working with Steve currently and with the neighbor in regard to the response to that letter, and that somehow there's still some confusion about the lighting of the arena. And so I just wanted to let you know, if that's part of what you're reading, that is working out. We're ordering dimmer switches and different things so that we can get the lighting so that the neighbor's more comfortable with it. Okay, now, the historical part of this whole thing. In 1999, we had a daughter who was crazy about horses. She wanted to ride, so we bought a thoroughbred named Louie and boarded him at Wickham Park. In 2001, we bought 2940 Appaloosa, where we are now, so that was 20 years ago, and moved Louie home. And at that time, in early 2002, we put in a dirt arena, standard dressage arena, 20 meters by 60 meters. And inside we had 6 telephone poles with 2 floodlights on each pole so that our daughters could ride in the evenings. Obviously in the summer or in the winter after school it gets dark at 5 o'clock. So after that, in 2004, Wickham Park closed for the whole barn renovation project, and folks started reaching out to us to board because we had been out there for so long. I called zoning to verify if we could do that, and based on the address that we gave them, we were told we were already zoned agricultural, and that was no problem that we could do that. So we did that. And then we've been boarding off and on ever since then. And then in 2011, this is quite a few years later, Chase DeMarco, a young trainer we met at the park, came out to start our young horse. We had a baby horse in the meantime, and nobody can ride her, so Chase was a trainer. And he came out and he started doing that. He had other students at the time, and then they would trailer in for lessons on that arena. We never charged Chase. He never paid us anything for that service. He simply provided the service for his students. He got paid, they paid him, and we never earned any money on that process. We were just happy the arena was being used because by that time oldest daughter, who was the whole reason we did this, was off to college with her horse, and so the arena wasn't being used. So now it's being used. We also had an extra stall or two, so Chase filled those stalls with his students. At that point, I started charging board, because remember, we were told we were ag, so we could do that with no problem. And then, when the board started coming in, of course, I work full-time, so we paid Chase's students paid me for board. I paid Chase and his wife for barn cleaning and maintenance and fence repairs and waterers and all, just horse stuff. Then in 2012, Karen Shepard moved in next door. We already had the arena and we already had all the existing lighting, and she built a house right next to the arena. And then in 2017, 5 years later, in promoting dressage to the community, because I don't know if you guys know, but dressage is huge in Brevard County. Do you even know what it is? I mean,
Very familiar.
Good. It's an Olympic sport, and we have a vein of people. It's amazing. It's really amazing. So anyway, I digress. We learned, because of that big vein of interest, we had a big shortage of trainers, right? We didn't have enough people to train all these people. Even with Wickham Park being closed to horses, people were finding other places to put their horses. So there was, through the, I think it's the United States Dressage Federation, I'm pretty sure that's who it's with, but at any rate, if we could provide a covered arena, they would provide training to train our trainers. Does that make sense? Because you have to be certified at every level. Dressage is different. You start intro level and you go all the way up to Grand Prix, and it's absolutely a gorgeous, gorgeous sport. But training is integral in the whole thing. So if we could put a cover on the arena, then obviously it's cooler for the riders and the horses. You can ride in any kind of weather, and we can invite these trainers in to train our trainers. I don't know how else to say that. All right, next. Before we did that, I reached out to Karen Shepard and said, this is what we're going to plan. Cooler for the horses, all that. And I told her, what we wanted to do, why we wanted to do it, and we offered to plant trees between the properties or put in blackout shades or anything, and she declined all of it. She said that, it would be very pretty. I said it'll match the house in the neighborhood. It's not going to be a big, ugly, oxidized red. You know what arenas look like, right? It's not going to look like that. And you can see from the pictures, it doesn't look like that. It is really, really nice. We did a good job. Anyways, she declined all that, said it would be pretty. We moved forward, and it was done in 2017. Now, the training part never happened because Chase took on a way better job for himself at a big dressage facility in Cocoa. So once, that was kind of out. But we were hoping to get a tax break or a different tax base. And so I called it out to the county, and they said there was an application for a tax status in agricultural so that we could get a break on taxes. So when I did that, I was told the form to use, and I completed the form in 2018. What happened after that was, of course, life gets in the way. I got super busy in 2018, and I put the thing on the back burner. We just kind of didn't do much with it. We still had people trailering in, and we still had, the operation, I guess you'd call it, going on, but still not earning any money. Well, at that time I was earning board because I thought we were ag. Then what happened was Karen filed a complaint with, and that's when Steve Novak started coming out, and that's when I learned we really were never ag, and we were RR1, and so the only way I could charge board was if we got the zoning changed. Now, to charge board with a horse operation, it is not a money-making thing. Essentially, we help support the costs of running the thing, maintaining the arena and buying the rakes to keep the footing right, and there's a whole lot of money it costs. So this was never about the money, but it would be nice to be able to charge board to offset some of those costs, okay? Are we so far, so good? Let's see, I think that's the end of the story, because that's what brings us here. I applied for the variant, or
So-
whatever it is,
And that's why we're here, just
And-
for zoning.
just,
So just to change, you want to change from RR1 to ag, to AU.
is that all I had to say? I had to come up here and
That's
say, okay, then let me
that's
start
all.
over. I just want to change from that to that, that'd be
There we go.
awesome.
Okay, well, hold on there 1 second. Is there anyone in the audience would like to speak for or against this item? Ma'am, if you could just step aside there, and when you come up, if you could state your name and address for the record. We're going to clean that microphone before you come all the way there.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just address the board for just a second. So before you have a request to change the zoning from R-1 to AU. In that request, your responsibility is to evaluate that request based on compatibility and consistency with the comp plan.
Correct. Now, are you referring to section 6.2 down there at the bottom, 2257? It's going to clean up some of the things?
Correct. So as you're well aware that there is a code enforcement action against the property owner.
Right.
Those will have to be issued or dealt with in a separate matter outside of this request regarding the site lighting and so forth.
And would a BDP be out of question for if they decided to go AU?
Well, the AU will address the concerns that was raised by the owner. Our R-1 does not allow for a commercial agricultural business to operate in that zoning classification.
Right.
However, AU will allow that.
Yes, ma'am. Your name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm Karen Shepherd, and I'm at 2890 Appaloosa, which is directly beside their arena. And our concern is,
Would you be on the north side of them or the south?
I defer to my husband, the builder.
Okay, and is that where
Do you have the map?
Mr. Morset back in that corner?
I have a blue home, so if they have a picture.
I know where you're talking.
Okay.
Okay,
All right, that house is very, very close to the arena. That's where the house fit on the property. When we bought the property, there was no arena. There was one woman who kept her horse there. There was no, how many lights shining down. There was one pole. I have many pictures, not knowing we would need this ever, but of us back out in our yard showing what it used to look like. And the comment that I told her everything was okay to go ahead and do the covered arena. That was, and I have the letter, just asking, we'd love to do a New England style roof over the existing arena so the horses wouldn't get hot. Not the trainers, I don't know where that comes in. And once it all went up and it looked like the amount of lights, approximately 16 commercial style, like a gas station. It was so bright, and we have photos of it. It's embarrassing to have to go to a neighbor and say, look, this is a problem.
right.
So when she offered to put trees and put blinds, you're going to put 16 blinds in my home and trees? That's not going to cut it, because there's some other violations and concerns that we have. The noise of the operation, the times that it was operating, many times till after 10, the tractor that goes around 2 or 3 times. So our concern of it turning to agricultural is grave. There is not another farm that is doing that. There's plenty of horses, but they graze, they're out to pasture, they're not an operation, a commercial operation. I don't care about anybody making money. That's not our concern. I don't care. We care about the use and enjoyment of our back porch, keeping our windows open. I did present, I don't know if you'll be able to show the videos of the brightness, and if it was changed, we don't know if they sell the home, if someone else is going to buy it, and it's zoned agricultural, what are they going to do with it? It's the drainage off of that 4,000-foot roof line, impermeable, it's draining into our yard, and we have plenty of pictures of that. How do you go to neighbors? I tried 3 times, politely, and all we got back was, then you need to move. This is our life home.
Well, everything you're saying, as far as drainage and all, there's code for that. You know, you can't drain your water on my property. I can't
When we
drain my
built our-
water on his
exactly.
property. So that's all code. But now, as far as the zoning, are you for or against the AU?
I am very against, because although they may have specifics that they would like that aren't as broad as what changing to agricultural would be, we don't know that further along they'll do that. We don't know with resale their next
Okay.
owners are going to, and/or trying to sell our home. We've had enough company and family come and say, what is going on over there? How can you, what happened? Because that was not like that when we moved in.
Okay.
So those are my, I have others, but that gets to the point. I think you understand, or would you like
No.
clarification?
Your stance is you're against the AU zoning.
Very much so.
Perfect.
Okay. All set?
All right. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else in the audience would like to speak for or against this item?
Mr. Chairman, if I can get Logan to play the video for us so you guys can see that.
Okay.
There we go.
Ma'am. Okay. Ask again, anyone else, ma'am, I think you wanted to speak for or against this item. If you could come up and please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, Kelly Campbell, 2880 Appaloosa Boulevard, 32934.
Okay.
I'd just like to say that I'm for the rezoning. I think this is a great thing. It'd be very beneficial for the horse community. And I am a horse person myself, but I think that the noise and activity is to be expected for a horse property. That's something that I've seen at several other horse properties, things like dragging the arena.
Now, is your property line adjacent to this property?
Yes.
So you would be on the north side?
We're on the south side.
South
but
side.
Southwest.
Okay. All right. So you would be for it?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anyone else would like to speak for or against this? Yes, sir. Please come on up here.
Yes, my name is Robert Brisbane. I live at 2945 Appaloosa. I'm directly across the street to the east, and I'm for the change. I obviously don't have the immediate proximity of the neighbor to the south, but as far as the lighting and noise, I don't notice it as being a problem at all. I'm for the change.
All right. Well, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Anybody else? You get one shot at us. Okay, ma'am, could you come back up, please?
Do I get to go through the pictures or no? I think they're self-explanatory.
Yeah, we're good. We're just talking about zoning.
Okay,
Okay, you want to go from the RR1 to AU.
correct.
And now AU allows a lot of different things. You can grow your own vegetables and then sell them, and you can do a lot of different things. Is that something you're interested in?
No,
You're just interested in the horse deal.
that's it. That's it. It won't change over what it's been since 1999 when we bought the place.
So I've got a question for staff. If we do allow only the horse thing, but per code, water drainage, lighting, that's not our deal. Should we put a BDP
That is something that you can consider.
to
but-
just regulate it just to the horse activity?
Correct. What you could do is limit it to horse use only in accessory uses relating to horse stables in a riding arena. But that would be voluntary by the applicant to do so.
Would you be willing to agree to that?
Absolutely. Right, let me ask my husband. Yeah, that's all we do now, so it's really all. That's what we thought we had all along.
Okay.
Just a question to staff. That would be something for the commission to consider, not planning and zoning, correct?
Well, you can make a recommendation.
Right, that's the word we need to
Yes.
use. Yes. And we cannot tell her what to do. We can recommend to the commission makes that decision.
Understood.
And you would be okay with that?
Absolutely.
All right, hearing that, I bring it back to the board. Does anybody have any questions for the applicant?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
excuse me, ma'am, how many horses would you intend to have? How many do you envision seeing? And
Currently, with zoning, we can have 20 on 5 acres. We have only 6, and that's plenty to take care of. I don't expect, or nor would I ever want any more than 6.
the 6 horses, are those yours?
Mm-hmm.
And then you mentioned boarding.
I would like, well, I used to board, yes, until I found out I was in violation. So that's kind of the whole intent of this thing, is so that I can board to defray costs of upkeep on the arena.
So counting your own horses plus the number, what's the maximum number that you can envision boarding?
Just 6. That's it. I will, on the property, I will only have 6. That's it, no more.
So I don't understand. You've got 6 horses of your own. You're going to board other horses.
No, what I'll do is get rid of the 6 of my own and board.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, I will, the maximum on the property will only be 6,
okay.
ever.
Can you put that in the BDP?
I have a 6-stall barn. I'm not getting any more horses.
Ron, I
plenty.
think that would have to be a question for staff.
That would be something that you could add into the BDP along with
recommend.
limiting the uses.
I'm sorry, what does BDP mean?
It's a
BDP
binding-
stands for Binding Development Plan, so it's an agreement
Gotcha.
that gets recorded along with your rezoning application.
Different than a CUP, right? Conditional use, different than that.
It's different
Okay.
from that, yes. And it's, it goes to the board separately from your rezoning application.
Okay. Yeah, I have no problem with any of that.
Yes, sir, Mr. Bryant.
I have a question for staff. We recently had a similar case like this in this somewhat general vicinity a month ago. And in an effort to keep things kind of consistent, we did a BDP on that one. I think we got a little bit more detailed on that one to where they were talking about no meat packing, no breeding, et cetera. It was just purely for personal use. She's asking for something a little bit different, so can you comment on that? Because there would be a business association to the fact that she'd be doing dressage or training and so forth, but it sounds like she's not going to be doing any of that other related business that you just mentioned.
Correct. So my understanding from the direction you guys have given me is that you want to limit the BDP to say horse-related uses, so it would preempt any meat processing or cultivation of any product other than having horses on the property,
And no breeding,
and no breeding.
no breeding of horses,
Horse-related activities.
riding and training.
I have no further questions.
I'm waiting on a motion
Motion to approve.
with the BDP.
I'd second
Right.
that.
Okay, hold on one
With
second,
the
Mr.
stipulations, with the 2 stipulations.
Does he need to go into,
I would prefer that the motion would include requesting a BDP to limit the use to horse-related activities only and limit the number of horses to a maximum of 6.
So move. Just the language, he has it.
I'd second it.
okay, we have a motion from William with the BDP. We have a second by Joe. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
That motion passed other than Mr. Moyer with a nay. But ma'am, back to you, but well, I'm gonna just hit on it real quick. The lighting, the drainage, and this, that, and the other, that's all code-related stuff. So they will be addressing those issues.
The time that they operate, is that part of this? Like, they can do this till 10 o'clock?
Yeah, I know.
There's issues.
Hold on one second, ma'am. We're gonna have to bring you back up to the mic now. But, well,
You've already had a motion and
we've had a
approved with
motion and an
BDP.
approval.
So if you want to discuss that again, you'd have to reopen that for discussion.
What is the March 6th thing? I thought that was
Hold on one second, ma'am.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I voted no. I don't think, if you're going to let her have a commercial operation, there should be more stipulations. I don't know if restricting her further than what she can already do makes sense, but if that's the, pleasure of this board to recommend that, that's fine. But, the fact is, he's putting basically a commercial use in a residential area. I think there needs to be more stipulations. That's just my point.
I guess.
Go ahead.
Voted, so you would have to open it. 'cause
That's just my
You have to
opinion.
open it because of the
You don't
discussion
have to
that just
do
started.
anything. You don't have to do anything, but that's just my,
If you wanted to reopen the hearing, Mr. Chair, you would have to have a motion and a second to reopen it for the
Right.
reconsideration. But
Correct.
obviously, the BDP is voluntary by the applicant, but but obviously there's conditions, and once again, this is a recommending body, so you're sending it to the board with recommendations, but obviously if you want to discuss further recommendations such as lighting and other items, you can.
Well,
And
isn't the lighting and the drainage and all, that's going to be addressed by code enforcement?
it will be, but I mean, I've
Correct.
seen BDPs that also address like the hours of operation or lighting. That could be a recommendation you could make. That's definitely something
I'm
this
not
board could
against
do.
hours of operation.
Well, the county commission is probably going to step on a lot of them items. We've had the vote, it's passed. I say we move to the next item.
Okay, you're the chairman.
Okay, item 3.
Okay, item H3, the Century Business Center LLC requests a conditional use permit for alcoholic beverages, beer and wine only, for on-premise consumption in conjunction with a dog park in a BU2 zoning classification. And this is in District 4.
I just, I need to make a disclosure that my company is representing the applicant on this one, so I'll be abstaining from discussion and voting.
Thank you, Mr. Moy. Are you the applicant, sir?
I am the representative on behalf of the applicant, yes.
Okay, and your name and address, please, for the record.
David Bassford, MBV Engineering, 1250 West O'Galley Boulevard. So I have the pleasure, I don't know, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
I usually project just fine, but it's kind of low. I have the pleasure of presenting today a new business or seeking a conditional use to allow alcoholic beverages on premise. So this, to me, is the first in Brevard that I'm aware of. So what it is an indoor-outdoor dog park, dog daycare, and then it also has a bar involved, which is why the use of alcoholic beverages on premise. It's located approximately 0.2 of a mile east of the intersection of Wickham and Suntree Boulevard, within the existing Suntree Business Center. As is consistent with the application, there's no modifications that are required for parking, signing, lighting, or landscaping, and the conditional use will not increase the level of service for solid waste, potable water, or wastewater. It also will not affect vehicular circulation, emergency response, or pedestrian safety. And with that, I'll take any questions if you got them.
Well, that's pretty self-explanatory right there. All right, is there anyone in the audience would like to speak for or against this item? Seeing that, I bring it back to the board. Do we have any questions for the applicant?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir. Mr. Ron?
the number of parking spaces, there seems to be a slight dispute between you and staff on the number of parking places. Staff, is that correct?
He's in a business complex, and we do not know how many parking spaces are allocated for that use. So it'll be up to the applicant to make sure that he has an appropriate amount of parking for that use. The site plan was approved for an office warehouse type use, and having a dog park has more parking generation than that use would allow. So I just wanted to bring that it's up to the applicant to make sure that he has enough parking.
Is there something that he needs to do to show us that he's done that, or can he simply say he will do it?
Can I?
Yeah.
It's part of the application. It's listed on there. And it's also listed on, if I'm not mistaken, sheet 2 of the plans that I submitted. So what I did is, based upon office space, it would require, and I know that this number is correct, but I don't remember the exact breakdown, 22 spaces for just the office space.
Yeah,
So what I did is I then broke it down based upon the dog park and the, sorry, mine's drawn a blank, and the bar area.
Right. I understood your calculation, and it seemed to be correct with me.
Okay.
I had one other comment.
Yes, sir.
I really like your creativity in naming it the Rough House Bar Park. All right.
I'll make a motion to approve this.
I'll second.
Got a motion by Brian, a second by Mr. William. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And be it noted that Mr. Bruce Moyer recused himself on this vote. That passed unanimously. Okay, meeting adjourned.
The opinions expressed by any member of the public during any period of public comment do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County, Florida, Space Coast Government Television, or the program sponsor, and are solely those of the presenter. The Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County, Florida, Space Coast Government Television, and the program sponsor hereby expressly disclaim any and all responsibility or liability for any defamatory or slanderous statements expressed by any member of the public during any such period.